מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון. צדיק אתה כוונות נזכה שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. ינובון בשיבה, דשנים רעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי, ולא עוולה תבוא. אדוני מלך גאולה עדותיך נאמנו מועדתך נא בקודש אדוני לאורך ימים. That's Mourner's Kaddish in the middle of page 24 for mourners and those observing a yortzeit. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah be'almad divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chaye echon v'yom echon v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael v'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam elamei omayah יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ברכו לאלה עם כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה חיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Page 28, for the call to prayer, the Baruch Hu that begins our evening service.
Baruch et Adonai Mevorach.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach le'olam ba'ed.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach le'olam ba'ed. El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Moed Baruch Ata Adonai Hamari V'Aravim. Page 29. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amkata Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadita. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, shokbeinu v'kumenu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismat b'divrei Toratecha, ובמצוותיך לעולם מועד, כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו באורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה יומם ולילה. יעבדך תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואתה את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. It's like Yom Adonai. Adonai Elechem Emet. Top of page 32. Emet v'yumna kozot v'kayam aleinu ki hu Adonai v'yin tzvato. אנחנו Yisrael mo'abedim me'at malakim hakim. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורתי לא רוסי פלא מלכותך ראו בניך בוקי הים לפני משה זה לי ענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד Mar ki padarna et Yaakov galom yarkazat mimenu baruch atah Adonai ga Yisrael. Prayer of protection, Hashkivenu, at the top of page 33. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom hamidenu makenu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom hamidenu makenu lechaim. First line is got to make up a to be it's over. Not about Shin, much better. I gave out then about Hasim. Ufros alenu sukat shalom mecha baruch atah Adonai. Hapore sukat shalom alenu v'al klamo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. Vishamro b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat lasor et HaShabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamro b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat lasor et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ובן בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Yitkada veyitkada shemei Rabba Bi'amari ve'rachirute ve'yamlich malchute Bechayekon ve'yomechon v'chayeticho ve'Yisrael Bagalau v'van kari ve'yimeru amen Bagalau v'van kari ve'yimeru amen Yehishmer Rabba mevarach li'alamula me'omaya Yirbarach Yitbarak ve'yishtabak ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yithadar ve'yit'aleh ve'yithalal shemere kodesha brichu ve'elam min kol birchata ve'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata da amiran bi'alima v'imeru amen v'imeru amen. Moment of personal prayer, private reflection, the words of the Amidah, page 35. Ose shalom bimromav, Uyase shalom aleinu, V'al kol Yisrael, V'yimru amen. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yal kol Yisrael, 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 v'yimaru, amen.
Amen, amen. Yasher Koach, thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So there's a machloket, there's a disagreement about when Shabbat actually starts. Well, in general, when it starts, but also when you start praying early, right before the sunset. Does Shabbat start now or when? Some say Mizmor Shir when we say that psalm for Shabbat, but there's another opinion here, right? Right, all sorts of opinions. But how about this one? When Joyce lights our candles, that's when we'll start Shabbat. So Joyce, do you want to light Shabbat candles? You ready for that? And unmute and light for us.
I have to get batches.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Still early enough, I think. Yeah. And does anybody have Kiddush wine at the ready for later? All right. So Kenneth Levine, you're on.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'halak ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Amen. And in light of Shabbat, bring us joy and love and openness and light. Amen. Thank you, Joyce. So we learned this past week with some professors from Machon Hadar. Machon Hadar is a institute in New York. It started out as a minyan and then grew into a Beit Midrash and now is a center of Jewish learning. And they do a really good job. And so Dina Weiss is one of their outstanding teachers. She came to teach us this past week and taught us an interesting lesson that I think we can break down a little bit further. But here's the lesson. The question is asked. The question is the Orach Chaim, who is a post-medieval commentator, says, he asks the question, okay, so it's getting ready for Pesach, right? So how did the Israelites go from being royalty, basically, in Egypt, being slaves? Now, why were they royalty? I remember how they got down there. They got down there because they were Joseph's brothers and Joseph's father. And so Pharaoh welcomed them into town with open arms and said, here, you can enjoy b'meitav ha'aretz, enjoy the best of the land, and set them up in royal houses in Eretz, in a beautiful part of town. And they were all set. They were right there, living high. And then all of a sudden, Vayakam melech hadash, and then a new king arose who didn't know Joseph, and boom, they fell to slaves. So the Orach Chaim asked, how could that happen so quickly? Like, I understand that, but instantly, is that really possible? And then the other question is bifarech, right? That the Israelites, the Israelites were working bitterly, and the work was described as bifarech, very difficult work, right? Like torment. It was kind of how it gets interpreted, translated mostly, but it's a strange word. It only occurs once or twice in all of Tanakh, and so the rabbis wonder about the etymology of that word. And so that's another question. The third question is Hava nitchakma lo, that Pharaoh says, let's outwit the Israelites, right, and make them our slaves, right? And so why have to outwit the Israelites? Further, you're stronger than them, you're bigger than them. Like, why do you have to outwit them to make them your slaves? Just make them slaves. And so to answer all these three questions, right, the Orach Chaim says something strange happened. Here's what happened. The Israelites didn't go straight from being sort of treated like royalty to slavery. What happened? First, there was an intermediate step. First, the Egyptians came to them and said, we would like you to manage the projects, manage our building projects. We'd like you to be the managers, the bosses of the pyramid building. And the Israelites said, okay, we can be good bosses. That sounds good to us. And so they became the bosses. And then slowly and gradually, the Egyptians started taking away their resources. Right? Instead of 100%, they give 90%, right? And less slaves to work with and less resources to build with. And then they came up short, and the Israelite bosses ended up having to finish the work themselves. And so they stayed extra at night, and then and then they took away more resources, and they had to stay till midnight. More, all of a sudden, there were no more resources, and they were the slaves. Right? So that answers the question. It's kind of how they outsmarted them and didn't just make them slaves. And the ferach, right? They had them work beferach, with a kind mouth, with a soft mouth, which means with a kind tongue. So they said, instead of saying you're a slave, they said, tell you what, well, they sweet talked them into becoming slaves, right? And so it didn't just happen overnight; it happened gradually, says the Or HaChaim, and it happened through sweet talk, right? They outsmarted them and outwitted them, making them the bosses, and then taking away the resources, so that they ended up being the slaves themselves. All right, so that's an interesting piece of Torah. So what do we learn from it? Right, is the next question. Right, what are some of the? I can think of at least three. So I'll start with one. Be careful of the sweet talkers. Right. So look out for the sweet talk when people are flattering you. Right. There's sometimes flattery is flattery, and that's beautiful. But sometimes this flattery can be, right, deceptive, right, and useful, strategic flattery. Right. So look out for that. Trust people, obviously, but watch out for double talk. Good. So that's one lesson. Others? Yes. Moshe, unmute. Yes. Toda.
The Jews keep making this mistake. They don't know when to get out.
They don't know when to get out. Oh, they're right. So as soon as they started shorting them on resources, they should have bailed.
Well, you can think of more in recent history when the Jews didn't know when to get out, right?
Didn't get out in time, right? So always be ready to go. You have to be secure and trusting, but have some a suitcase packed somewhere. Okay. Good. Other lessons?
A lesson not to be forgotten.
Lesson not to be forgotten. That's true. That's true. Right. How our ancestors are resilient and right, the ones who act fast and quickly, right, survive. Yeah. Thank you for that. And other lessons from the story, from the Devar Torah? Good. About trustworthiness, about
So maybe a metaphorical light lesson could be around, when we're not paying attention, could be in the realm of work. For those of us who probably are a little bit workaholics, if we're not paying attention, we give more and more of ourselves to a thing. Maybe we feel indebted to the thing. Maybe we don't ask for support. And suddenly we find ourselves metaphorically enslaved, right? Maybe not where our priorities should be or where our hearts would be most free.
That's right. Good. So be careful about the projects you accept in the first place. Make sure that you have enough support and resources. And when you don't, make sure that we're managing up. Right. Make sure that we're not just taking more and more on, but rather raising a red flag and making sure there are enough resources there for everybody. Right. Self-sacrifice. Right. There's a limit to self-sacrifice. Right. And saying no is important, right? And so thank you to our ancestors for teaching us this lesson, and the Or HaChaim HaKodesh, who was made his way into the classic commentators, Or HaChaim, but then fell out of favor recently. So we're bringing him back a little bit. Beautiful explanation of how psychologically we were manipulated into becoming slaves. And so we can be on the lookout for that kind of manipulation in our lives and make sure that we're receiving the kind of support and make sure that others are receiving the kind of support that makes it work and productive and joyful and meaningful instead of laborious, right? Metaphorical enslavement, and in that way we can help make each other free, even in our day. And together we say, Amen. Amen. As we continue with Vayachulu, page 47.
ויכולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון קונה שמיים וארץ. מגן אבות בדברו, מחיי מתים במאמרו, האל הקדוש אין כמוהו, המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו, כי בם רצה להניח להם, כי בם רצה להניח להם, לפניו נעבור ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד בין הברכות אל ההודעות. אדון השלום מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי, ומניח בקדושה לימד ושני עונג, זכר למעשה וראשית. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, רצה במנוחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך, צוונו מטובך ושמחנו בישועתך, וטהר ליבנו מעובדך באמת, והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון, שבת קודשך וינוחו בישראל, מקדש שמך, ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. יקרא שמי רבה ביום דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בעגלה בזמן קריב ימרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך ויעלם עולם מעמיה יתברך Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitralev v'yilashmer kudesha bricho Miela min kol birchata v'shirata tvrata v'nechamata damiran b'yalma v'yimeru Amen. Tikabat zelor honbat hondecho Yisroel kodam avon v'shmaya v'yimeru Amen. Yehi shlam arav min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'yalko Yisroel v'yimeru Amen. Ose shalom bimromav Hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'yalko Yisroel v'yimeru Amen. Kiddush l'Shabbat, page 49. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'yiratav banu v'shabbat kodesho b'yamahu v'ratzon inkilanu zikaron l'maseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'i kodesh zecher l'tziad mitzrayim Kivano vakarta yotanu kidashta mikol ha'im v'shabbat kodecha v'yava u'v'ratzon inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat. L'chaim. We turn to page 51. We continue with Aleinu L'Shabeach. Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol L'Atei Kedula L'Yotze Breshit Shelo asanu ki goyi aratzor Velo samanu ki mitbrod ha'adama Shelo sam chelkeinu kahem Vigor aleinu ki kol hamonam V'anachnu korim U'mishtachavim u'modim Lifnei melech malchei amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. כן, נקבל לך. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Friends, we commemorate the following yahrzeits this week. Ami Avivi, Evelyn Bell, Emmanuel Blyer, Eugene Domer, Rosita Goldberger, Manly Goldfein, Ida Goodman, Irving Goroff, B. Heffler, Irving Horowitz, Julius Nabel, Adele Kornman, George Malakoff, Arthur Mayer, Joe Mendelevich, David Moses, Doris Prizant, Arnold Remsen, Alan Rosenberg, Joseph Barnett Royal, William Title, Ronald Martin Turk, Ricky Weidman. Friends, Mourner Scottish can be found on page 52. Yit Gadal, V'yit Gadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma Divrak Yerute, Ve'amlich Malchute, V'chayechon, V'yomechon, V'chaye Dachol Beit Yisrael, Bagala ubizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach le'olam le'nei almighty. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yita'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei b'kudusha brichu. Le'ela minko birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya Chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who makes peace above bring peace and comfort to us below. Together we say amen. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Thank you all for being here and making our minyan. You become very precious, and so thanks for being here. And Sunday we have some programming. Ken Levine, are you teaching on Sunday?
Yes, this Sunday is the last in the series of classes on the history of anti-Semitism. So it's most modern material we're going to deal with. And so I invite everybody to join us as we finish up this course together. We need a Seudah.
That's right. That's right. And, congratulations on getting through the curriculum. It's a long history of anti-Semitism. Yes. And thank you. And also on Sunday, CBS Women are putting on a program. Michelle Moses is teaching about some healthy Pesach cooking. So come and join them for that. Other announcements? All right. Let's conclude with Yigdal, page 53. Yeah, Marion, tell us how many years are we commemorating for Evelyn?
For Evelyn, she passed away in 2013. It seems like yesterday, but hey, it's like, what can you say?
Bring us a little bit of her beauty. What was giving you her characteristics, her and then
Oh my
image.
goodness. Thanks for letting me share because some good friends are here. Well, one of the things is Evelyn loved everyone. She would give you a hug, Gail a hug, Lolly, she would give a hug, Tanner Levine, she would give a hug. She loved giving hugs. Her favorite color was pink, or pink, maybe purple, and she loved to read. She was the spotlight of the room. Huh?
Dance.
And she could dance, man, I'm telling you. That girl could dance. So thank you for letting me share.
Of course, of course.
Beautiful day for her birthday.
Yeah.
And her yahrzeit.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So friends, we're going to conclude with Yigdal, 13 Principles of Faith from Maimonides put into song.
יגדל אלוהים קר ישתבח נמצא וינר אל מציאותו אחד יחי כייחודו נעלם גם אין סוף ליהדותו אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף לא נערוך אליו קדושתו קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו אינו אדון עולם בכל נוצר יורה גדולתו ומלכותו שפע נבואתו נתנו אלא אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד נביא ומעביד את אמונתו תורת אמת נתן לי המועל היד נביאו נאמן ביתו לא יקר לפאר ולא ימיר דתו בעולמים לזולתו צופה ויודע סיתרנו מביט לסוף דבר וקדמתו גומר איש חסד כמפעלו נותן לרשע רע כרישתו ישלח לקץ ימים משיחנו, לפדות מחכה קץ ישועתו, מתים יחייל ברוך חסדו, ברוך עד שם תהילתו, מתים יחייל ברוך חסדו, ברוך עד שם תהילתו. We invite everyone to find someone to bless, extend blessings to all our loved ones and our friends. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasim lecha shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. I think Buddy got that one. Buddy
So
got
you got the
He
dog.
got a blessing.
yeah.
No kidding. It's a tough world out there.
Marion, did you say today is not just Evelyn's yortzeit, but it's her birthday?
What we did is we moved her yortzeit to her birthday.
I gotcha.
That would have been more important to her if she had a choice, because she passed away just a few weeks before her birthday.
Gotcha.
So we made her birthday her yortzeit to celebrate her beauty.
Gotcha.
Nice, very nice. So Ben, I think I see you have a birthday coming up.
Yes,
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
Monday.
Ah,
Right.
that's awesome.
Yom Holedet Sameach.
Thank you.
Yom Huledet Sameach. It should be a year filled with happiness and joy and togetherness and laughter and
No.
good stuff.
Yes.
Are you willing to say how old?
Hello, hello, how are you?
Hello.
How old?
Yeah,
92.
Oh,
You lie. You are kidding.
No.
Bracha.
She takes good care of me.
yeah, there you go.
Obviously.
Wow.
I saw that y'all had a little wine way before Kiddush.
That's the secret.
Well, don't keep it a secret.
Thank you. Good Shabbos.
Oh,
Shabbos, happy birthday. Marion, that's a great color.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.